स्वागत है आपका इस सत्र में। और इस सेशन में देखेंगे पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू एंड हिज कंट्रीब्यूशन, जवाहरलाल नेहरू का योगदान। ये जो जवाहरलाल नेहरू, he is said to be the architect of modern India, आर्किटेक्ट ऑफ मॉडर्न इंडिया। ठीक है, आधुनिक भारत के निर्माण में इनका काफी योगदान था। और जहां तक इसके विजन की बात थी तो नेहरू वॉज ए विजनरी लीडर। जैसे डेमोक्रेसी की बात हो, सोशलिज्म की बात हो, फॉरेन पॉलिसी में नॉन अलाइनमेंट मूवमेंट की बात हो, अगर इकोनॉमिक फ्रंट पे इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग में जैसे प्लानिंग कमीशन है, 5 ईयर प्लान है, या फिर साइंस एंड टेक के फील्ड में जो डेवलपमेंट की बात है, कम टू द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक ड्यूरिंग द नेहरू एरा, तो आप पाएंगे कि मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन से द एम्स हैव बीन सेट अप। फिर उस तरीके से आप देखेंगे IITs या फिर इसरो, DRDO, so there could be possible to do a lot of things। और इसलिए नेहरू को विजनरी लीडर कहा जाता है कि he was very much aspirant to the development of science and tech, because without the development of science and tech, in his idea, it was not feasible for the country to run with the world। और हमारा नॉन अलाइनमेंट मूवमेंट भी था, समाजवाद की बात भी थी। और फिर यदि हम एजुकेशन के फील्ड में देखें तो फिर वीमेन एजुकेशन, जो भी महिलाओं की शिक्षा थी, बच्चों का डेवलपमेंट था। आप जानते ही हैं कि एवरी ईयर ऑन 14 नवंबर 14 नवंबर को पंडित नेहरू बर्थडे इज ऑब्जर्व एज अ चिल्ड्रंस डे, और उन्हें चाचा नेहरू कहते हैं प्यार से। और नो डाउट ही वाज ए स्कॉलर, कई किताबें उन्होंने लिखी। जैसे इंपॉर्टेंट बुक्स में हम देखेंगे बुक्स रिटन बाय गांधी, नेहरू, बुक्स बाय जवाहरलाल नेहरू। जैसे आप जानते हैं द डिस्कवरी ऑफ इंडिया, उनकी काफी अच्छी किताब है, एंड ऑटोबायोग्राफी भी है। डिस्कवरी ऑफ इंडिया को उन्होंने लिखा 1946 में, फिर एन ऑटोबायोग्राफी भी लिखा उन्होंने। और एक बहुत ही और फेमस बुक है लेटर फ्रॉम ए फादर टू हिज डॉटर। ये और भी किताबें हैं, पर 3 किताबें बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। और यदि हम आजाद भारत में जब फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया के रूप में देखते हैं नेहरू को, इस संबंध में हमने चर्चा की। और यदि हम प्री इंडिपेंडेंस आजादी की लड़ाई में भी ये गांधी के साथ थे, और फिर इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस के ये प्रेसिडेंट भी थे। पूर्ण स्वराज की बात भी 1929 में आई। So overall, Gandhi was Pandit Nehru was a man of height. However, there were the points of differences between the Gandhi and the Nehru. Gandhi and Nehru के बीच में point of differences थे। जैसे एक पंडित नेहरू believed in the heavy industry, जहाँ पर गांधी was basically concerned to the cottage industry, a small scale industry, so that the rural people can be developed and more employment can be generated for the rural people। फिर भी स्वतंत्रता के दिनों में जो लड़ाई चल रही थी, आंदोलन चल रहा था, उन दिनों में भी पंडित नेहरू और फिर गांधी साथ साथ थे। अब और आगे देखें नेहरू के बारे में। जैसे मैंने बताई आपको कि 14 नवंबर 1889 को उनका इलाहाबाद में जन्म हुआ था। ही वॉज द फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया और ड्यूरिंग 1947 टू 1964, 1947 से 1964 तक फर्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे 47 टू 1964। और फिर पोस्ट जो इंडिपेंडेंट एरा था उसमें देश को संवारने में उनकी काफी अच्छी भूमिका रही, जिसकी चर्चा हमने की। और यदि अर्ली लाइफ की बात करते हैं पंडित नेहरू की, तो अर्ली लाइफ में हम देख सकते हैं कि नेहरू वॉज बॉर्न इनटू ए Kashmiri Brahmin family, known for their scholarship and administrative skills. His father, Motilal Nehru, was a prominent figure and a key leader in India's independence movement. Nehru was the eldest of 4 siblings. 4 भाई बहनों सबसे बड़े थे, जिसमें 2 बहनें भी थी। One of his sisters से Vijaya Lakshmi Pandit later became the first woman to serve as president of the United Nations General Assembly. The point here. His early education was conducted at home by English tutors and guardians. Among them, Ferdinand Box, a part Irish, part Belgian, Theophist, left a notable impression on Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru also had an Indian tutor who taught him Hindi and Sanskrit. In 1905, 1905 में Nehru went to Harrow, a prestigious school in England, and later to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he earned a degree in natural science. Subsequently, Nehru trained as a barrister at the Inner Temple in London, passing his exams without much distinctions. Nehru's 7 years in England shaped his worldview, but left him feeling caught between 2 cultures, neither fully Indian nor fully British. Reflecting on his, he wrote, "I have become a queer mixture of East and West, out of place everywhere, at home nowhere." After returning to India, Jawaharlal Nehru married Kamla Kaul in 1916 में, a fellow Kashmiri from Delhi, their one daughter, Indira Priyadarshini, who later became Prime Minister of India as Indira Gandhi. Now, early steps into the politics. एक ऐसे नेहरू एंड पॉलिटिक्स की बात करेंगे। After his return to India, Nehru initially tried practicing law, but found little interest in the profession. His true passion lay in India's freedom movement, or the struggle for the freedom of the country. Nehru had an instinctive nationalist sentiment, but lacked clear ideas on how to achieve independence until he met Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's insistence on action and his strategy of non-violent, जो कहते हैं हम लोग अहिंसा, non-violent resistance inspired Nehru and his father to join his movement. Nehru and his father were initially skeptical of Indian politicians who often focused on lengthy speeches rather than action. Gandhi's direct approach to opposing British rule without hatred deeply resonated with him. Nehru first met Gandhi in 1960. याद रखिएगा, ये सवाल भी पूछता है पेटी में भी। सबसे पहले नेहरू ने गांधी से मिले थे 1916 में ड्यूरिंग एन इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस मीटिंग इन लखनऊ। याद रखिएगा प्लेस का नाम। Although their early interaction was uneventful, Nehru eventually became a devotee follower of Gandhi. Now, come to rise in Indian National Congress. Nehru's significant political journey began in 1990 during a wave of nationalist protests and British crackdowns after World War I. This period also witnessed the tragic Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar, where British troops killed hundreds of unarmed innocent Indians. Nehru was first imprisoned in 1921. 1901 में पहली बार, 1921 में पहली बार वो जेल गया for participating in the non-cooperation movement led by Gandhi. On the next 24 hours, years, not hours, on the next 24 years, Nehru was jailed 8 more times, spending over 9 years in total in jail. He regarded his prison terms as intervals in a life of intense political activity. In 1923, 1923, Nehru became the General Secretary of the Congress Party, a position he held again in 1927, 1927 में भी. His travels across India during this period exposed him to the extreme poverty and suffering of poor people, which shaped the political ideology. ठीक है? What's secularism? Socialism, not secularism. A major turning point in Jawaharlal Nehru's thinking came during his tour of Europe. यूरोप की यात्रा के दौरान उनके चिंतन में काफी परिवर्तन आया. And the Soviet Union in 1926-27, he developed a deep interest in Marxist ideas and began to incorporate socialist principles into his vision for India's future. While Nehru admired Marxist economic theories, he was critical of the authoritarian methods used by communist regime. His approach to socialism was thus pragmatic, adapting Marxist ideas to India's unique circumstances. Then come to the significant milestones in leadership. Nehru's prominence within the Communist Party grew steadily. In 1929, when 1929 में, he was elected president of the party. He presided over the historic Lahore session, where the demand for complete independence, जिसको हम पूर्ण स्वराज कहते हैं, replaced the earlier goal of dominion status under British rule. From his early years to a nationalist to becoming a central figure in India's freedom struggle, Nehru's life was marked by a relentless pursuit of independence and a vision for a modern progressive India. His journey laid the foundation for his leadership in shaping post-independence India. Then come to struggle for Indian independence. Nehru's leadership and rise in politics. After the historic Lahore session of 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru became a leader who inspired India's intellectuals and youth. Mahatma Gandhi strategically made Nehru the president of the Communist Party, bypassing senior leaders. Gandhi's intention was twofold. Number one, to bring young Indians many of whom were drawn to extreme leftist ideas, into the communist movement, and to encourage Nehru to adopt a balanced approach by giving him greater responsibilities. When Motilal Nehru, his father, passed away in 1931, 1931 में जब उनके पिताजी का देहांत हो गया, Jawaharlal Nehru became a central figure in the Communist Party and developed a closer relationship with Gandhi. By the mid-1930s, many Indians saw Nehru as Gandhi's natural political successor, even though Gandhi did not officially name him as such until 1942. I'm now come to the civil disobedience movement. And what were the political challenges thereof? In 1931, Gandhi signed the Gandhi Union Pact with Lord Irwin, the British Viceroy, which marked a temporary truce during the civil disobedience movement. Nehru, however, was arrested during the period for participating in the Salt March protest. Hopes for a peaceful phase in India's relations with Britain were short-lived. Lord Whittington, who replaced Lord Irwin, arrested Gandhi in 1932 for planning another civil disobedience movement. Nehru was also jailed and sentenced to 2 years in prison. The British government's efforts to address India's demand for self-rule, याद रखिएगा, led to 3 round table conferences in London. These talks eventually resulted in the Government of India Act 1935, 1935 का भारत सरकार अधिनियम, which included, not included, but which introduced provincial autonomy, allowing local governments to function independently. Nehru, however, was more focused on global development, particularly the tensions in Europe leading to World War II. With personal loss and political decisions, in 1936, Nehru faced a personal tragedy when his wife, Kamala, passed away in Switzerland after a long illness. Despite his grief, Nehru emphasized India's place alongside democratic relations in any future global conflict, asserting that India could support Britain in World War II only if they were granted freedom. Now, come to the conflict with Muslim League. The introduction of political autonomy led to elections in which the Congress party owned in most provinces. However, the Muslim League led to Muhammad Ali Jinnah performed poorly. When Jinnah proposed a coalition government between Congress and the Muslim League, Congress rejected the idea. Nehru supported the action, but it ultimately deepened the divide between Hindus and Muslims, paving the way for the partition of India. Then come to दूसरी महायुद्ध और जिनको imprisonment हुआ. When World War II began in 1939, 1939 में जब विश्व second World War शुरू हुआ तो then British Viceroy Lord Livingston committed India to the war without consulting Indian leaders. In protest, यानी वर्ल्ड वॉर सेकेंड में भारत की एंट्री मान ली गई ब्रिटिश इंडिया के दौरान, जबकि कोई भारतीय नेताओं से सलाह नहीं लिया गया था, एडवाइस नहीं लिया गया था। इन प्रोटेस्ट कांग्रेस withdraw from provincial ministers, leaving the political field open for the Muslim League to gain influence. Nehru and Gandhi had differing views on the war. Gandhi initially believed a unconditional support for British through non-violent means, while Nehru argued that India should only support the fight against Nazism as a free country. Nehru held that if India could not actively assist, it should at least refrain from hindering Britain's efforts. This is the point here. In 1940, Gandhi launched a limited civil disobedience campaign, Sabina Avanga Anandya, leading to Nehru's arrest. Nehru की arrest हुई. However, he was released after a year, just before Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941. अब हम देख लें कि भारत छोड़ो आंदोलन में तो ये हमारा यहाँ पे ये डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. As Japan's advance into the Burma, now Myanmar, threatened India in 1942, Britain sent Stratford Gibbs to negotiate a settlement, but his proposals fell short of India's demand for full independence. Next point, Gandhi then announced the Quit India movement, calling the British withdrawal. Nehru, although reluctant to disrupt the war effort, supported Gandhi. After the movement's resolution was passed in August 1942, Nehru, Gandhi and other Congress leaders were arrested. Nehru was imprisoned to the 9th and final time, being released only in June 1945. Path to India's participation and Jawaharlal Nehru. Following Nehru's release, the political situation in India intensified. The Labour government in Britain replaced Churchill's administration and sent a cabinet mission to negotiate India's independence. However, tensions between the Hindus and the Muslims had escalated, with violent clashes in 1946 claiming thousands of lives. Partition became inevitable. Nehru, while deeply saddened, agreed to the division of India into two nations, India and Pakistan. Gandhi opposed the idea but could not prevent it. On August 15, 1947, India gained independence and Nehru became its first prime minister. The partition was inevitable, and that's why India was divided into two parts, only Pakistan and India. So this way we have seen that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was a leader of fight. He has done a lot for the country before independence, and after independence, particularly in the field of science and technology, because he believes in the development of science and technology, the heavy industries, so that India could run with the world. So that's all about the contributions of Nehru. और मैंने बताया भी था कि नेहरू wrote many important books. जैसे डिस्कवरी ऑफ इंडिया की बात हमने की, फिर लेटर फ्रॉम ए फादर टू हिज डॉटर की बात है, ऑटोग्राफी की बात है, गांधी नो डाउट ही वाज द मैन ऑफ लेटर्स आल्सो. और during his time he did a lot towards policy formulation, towards educations, in the domain of science and technology. That's all for this lecture. Thank you.